Can't really hear them, by the way. Yeah, definitely can't hear them. Yep, definitely can't hear y'all. Ironic, because I could hear them before, but now I cannot, now that the show has started. Yeah, basically.
Just above Oceanside, but I didn't see him doing this well.
I didn't think
Oh,
it was
there
going to
we
be that
go.
this good either. So Mission Hills defeats Torrey Pines 20-14. Our North County game of the week last week, RB beating Mount Carmel. Rancho Bernardo 5-3. Mount Carmel 7-1 now. Rancho Bernardo wins 22-19. And when we're talking about that game specifically, you know, Mount Carmel is a football team that's definitely on the rise, but they show that they're a D3 team. Last week by losing to Rancho Bernardo. I'm really curious to see how Mount Carmel bounces back against Poway this week.
I don't know. I mean, Poway's going to be a tough game. Going back to the Rancho Bernardo game last week, I thought they were in that game the whole time. I just thought they ran out of gas toward the end. And Rancho Bernardo just showed they were a little bit more physical and they wanted it more. It's sad to say because I wanted to see Mount Carmel maybe run the table, have a perfect season. That'd be kind of cool to see Drew Westing and those boys up there.
Right.
But, hey, all that matters is the dub. According to Deontay Lee, all that matters is the dub. So they take on Poway this week. If they knock out Poway, that's huge. But I'm not betting on it. I think Poway is gonna take care of that.
Yeah, we'll talk about our game picks in just a little bit. Helix beats Steel Canyon 27-22. Not surprised by the result. A little surprised about the score. I mean, we do know that Steel Canyon always gives them a fight, but to win by 5 points against a 1-7 Steel Canyon team after a really good showing against Mission Viejo and a loss, I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I kind of was surprised the score was that close. Not to say anything bad about Steel Canyon, but I thought it was going to be 35-14, maybe a little bit more of a spread there.
Well, Helix looked like they were starting to hit their stride a little bit and get back to playing into a point where they're going to be a problem for some teams in Division I. But we'll see how they handle. They got the musket game. The battle for the dusty musket, because it's just been sitting at Helix since the 90s.
Every year we talk about this game, and every year Grossman says, this is going to be the year.
I don't think anybody's saying that.
Well, Grossman thinks that.
I mean, if this is a year you could potentially get them, right? Because Helix is, down, right? But Grossmont's not necessarily up. So
PTSD when I drag things to the trash can.
They need the perfect example. They need a perfect scenario of that. South Bay game of the week last week, Modern Day handled Eastlake 28-14. Eastlake, again, the problem was they can't move the ball and they can't score.
On offense. And to seal that game, listen, that game was so close. And Johnny Lyman, man, that poor kid, sophomore quarterback for Eastlake, goes down there. They're going in for the game-scoring drive, and he throws a pick six, and it goes back the other way. Eastlake was in that game the entire time up until the fourth quarter. Once he threw that pick six, it was pretty much the wind came out of their sails. Eastlake just didn't have enough to come back.
And it's it's tough sledding for that Eastlake team right now. But we talk about defenses win championships, but got to be able to score some points.
Yeah.
City game of the week, Cathedral and St. Augustine. That result was kind of what we thought it was going to be, 49-6. Lucky Sutton scores on the first play of the game. Lucky Sutton, 272 yards rushing on the ground, and he didn't even play the second half.
Yeah. No, Lucky's a special character. I do fully expect to see him on the silver pigskin podium. I think that kid's well deserving. He's probably the best player in the county, if you ask my opinion.
He leads the county in rushing yards. His rushing yards on Max Preps are not updated because Coach Sean Doyle has not put in the game against Torrey Pines, and we know he had a couple long runs in that game.
Doesn't he also lead in touchdowns now?
I think he does.
County?
He had 14 touchdowns, I think.
Unbelievable.
No, he has 17 total touchdowns.
Wow. Okay, so he might be either 2 or 3 because I think Sam Cooper over at UC has 20-something.
I mean, he scored like 6 in that first week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But those are our games of the week. We'll talk about our top 10s in just a little bit. It was Brandon ready to go. We got Brandon Stone on here joining us at KUSI. B. Stone, what's going
Brandon Stone.
Hello, sirs. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we
We
can.
can, as long as you can hear us and the eventful atmosphere we have down here in Otay
I
Ranch.
hear the smooth, dulcet tones of Braden Surprenant, one of the finest journalists this side of the Manhattan. I
Thank
can
you.
see TopDAWG, a man of great distinction, and I'm happy to be with Calvin as well.
Well, we're
He
glad to
can
have you.
shoot
Thank you
like
for
an arrow,
joining
man.
us.
No, I hadn't seen Calvin in a long time. I saw him at the Lincoln game. It was nice to see him.
It's good to have you on, Brandon. Good to usually you're interviewing us, so it's we're kind of
Yeah.
returning the favor a little bit, talking to Brandon Stone about some high school football. I wanted to dive into Brandon Stone, just in general because everybody knows you on KUSI. Maybe not people know too much about you, but just give us a quick background of how you got into being in sports media and how you got to where you are right now and kind of the steps that you've taken along the way to to be that friendly things you do at KUSI.
Well, I guess we have to go back to 1998 in 8th grade in the back of my dad's car. And I remember I turned to my dad and I said, I figured it out. And he said, what'd you figure out? I said, I think I want to move to San Diego when I'm older, go to college there, and then start journalism over there. I think it's what I want to do. And my dad, of course, turned to me and said, you crazy lunatic, just go to school. And as I like to say, for lack of a better plan, that's what I did, did exactly by that timeline. And that's how I ended up in this room at 23. And now I'm still sitting in it at 36. So, it's been a fun journey. And the best thing that we get to do here is impact the lives of children in a positive manner, especially those who have gone through so much and are going through so much, and remind them that they bring value to the world, not just through the way they play, but through who they are.
I wanted to ask you, too, I think, at least in my experience of watching you in particular, my favorite moment in which I think you've done the best as a sports broadcaster, as a journalist, was when, the Chargers left and you were at the Chargers practice facility and you were the one asking all the questions that fans wanted to know. You weren't sitting there kissing anybody's ass. You were really there speaking for the San Diego community, and I thought you did a really good job of talking to Dean Spanos. Can you take us through, that kind of day and, what was your plan going in and in that moment, what were you feeling as you were, really taking it to the guy that was taking a part of San Diego's history and community out of San Diego?
Well, first, thank you for those words. I feel undeserving. The first thing I'd say about that is we have a great team here. I'm sitting next to a bunch of them right now who are already annoyed because I'm just sitting here and talking on a webcam while they're trying to work. So apologies to them, but that's the first way that we get anything done around here is the hard work of everybody here. On that day, Paul and I had a meeting the previous, and he said, go up to Los Angeles and figure out what you can find. And I said, sounds good to me. And we went up, we kind of read some tweets, looked at the tea leaves, and said, I think if they're coming up here, the best place to go is Inglewood City Hall. We could try and talk to the mayor if he doesn't show up. And so we drove to Inglewood City Hall. My partner, Joaquin, great photographer here, he stood on one end of City Hall, I stood on the other, and we both stood there until we both spotted the limousines and Dean Spanos walk out, went right over, and the whole thing was kind of surreal because he thought we were LA media and didn't realize until the second question that we had come from the girlfriend he had left behind at the dance.
Oh.
And the number one question I wanted to ask him, and I was able to, was what do you think you have to apologize for? And what, if anything, do you think the citizens of San Diego have to apologize to you for? To give him an opportunity
Great
to
question.
get out what bothered him, and also for him to give a chance to show a little bit of humility in the sense that we had done this song and dance for 2 decades. And he would not relent. And that told me and everyone here everything that they needed to know. It was very much a surreal day, though.
So I'm
Unexpected.
going to make things a little lighter for Mr. Stone. Many people don't know that every year Brandon puts together the Red Jacket team, and he trains all the new Red Jackets. You know how many careers Brandon has been involved in that have taken a further step in sports journalism. Brandon, tell our audience about your passion and why you dedicate so much time and effort into the development of young sports journalists.
Well, you said you wanted me to make things lighter. Unfortunately, my answer starts out very heavy, but I'll make it light in a second, I swear. I know the two things I'm going to say are not comparable, first off, but I'm going to compare them anyway, which is I think a lot of what my dad went through in the 60s. He grew up in Louisiana as a teenager in the 60s. So you can imagine how his life was. But because of a lot of people who didn't have to help him, he was able to make it out at 19 and come to California and make it through his teenage years in an area that was not very kind to him, people that look like him. So what I learned from that is it's up to the people who don't have to have skin in the game to stand there and have skin in the game. And that's how I feel when I work here, which is everybody here just wants to make it. And to those who are dedicated and want it, it's my job to help facilitate them to get them to where they need to be. And so one of the fun things I get to do now is I went to Las Vegas a couple months ago, and I got to turn on the TV and watch someone who was an intern here when she was at Poway High School be the anchor on Fox there. And it's so cool to turn on the TV and say, I remember when they were 17 and just trying to figure this whole thing out. And then they're great. And I see it now in a lot of the employees we have here. There are some people who are working here right now who I know in 5 years are going to be doing great things. I'm looking right now, I see Bree, I see Allison, I see Erica, and all I tell them is, in 10 years when you guys are big and important and I'm just trying to get a janitorial job, please hire me at your place of business because I'm going to need a job. So,
well, Brandon,
just
you and
wanna
I
keep
worked
it moving.
together. You and I worked together, for about 2 years there when I was at KUSI, and it was always a pleasure to see your smiling face when I bought back there to the sports department. I think you're probably the most underrated sportscaster in San Diego. I've told you this many, many times. I think you're an incredible storyteller. You have a magical way of taking the difficult and making it emotional and being able to connect an audience to the story. And I really, truly value your contributions to our community, not just in football, but in baseball and basketball. But now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
So you have 4 sporting events. You have a SDSU basketball game. You've got a PPR game on Friday night. You've got the U.S. Open Championships. And you've got the WWE SmackDown on Friday night. Which one, the first part of this question is, which one are you covering as a journalist? And second part is, which one are you going to as a fan?
Which SDSU sport did you say?
Basketball.
He said basketball.
Basketball. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure I had that right. I'm definitely covering the PPR first, for sure.
Okay.
Not just because it's my job, but because high school football is what sports journalism is about. For me as a journalist, there are so many guys who are, in the Journalism Hall of Fame are known worldwide, and they got their start driving from town to town and writing articles in the back of their cars and looking for the Wi-Fi at the local Starbucks. And so that's the pure thing. As for which one I'm going to attend, Draw was very much on there and is very much right, for sure, considering that. I'll just tell you this. Remember how I said I was in Vegas 2 months ago? It was the weekend after week 1 of the PPR. We did PPR on Friday. I went home and packed on Friday night. I slept for 3 hours. I woke up, I got on the plane, and 8 hours later, I was in the 300 section watching SummerSlam. So,
For those of you that don't know, Brandon
others.
is a huge WWE fan. Huge fan, one of the biggest out there. So I just had to put that out there. Many people don't know that about Brandon Stone. Big WWE fan.
Yeah, that's I did know that about Brandon Stone. Big guy. You see some subtle
Yeah.
WWE references he
Every once
includes
in a while.
in his highlight packages,
see
which is
me.
outstanding. Brandon, let's talk a little bit about some high school football. Obviously, you know,
Oh, love to watch. Love that.
Look at that.
WWE. So what's better, Raw or SmackDown?
Right now, SmackDown's the better show because it's on the network instead of cable, but Raw's holding it down too right now.
All right, sounds good.
let's talk some high school football. I thought you brought up a good point with the
high
whole
school
like.
football. I forgot about that.
That's right. I mean, you brought up a good point in what, you know, high school football in the comparison to just kind of what it is to be a broadcaster, because everybody that's, you know, big and big time has covered high school football. I mean, even some of the guys that we have on the John Quintero show, you know, the Adam Ranks of the world that's on NFL Network, he was working for Coach Quintero covering high school games. Scott Miller that we see on all the time, a national baseball writer who votes for the MVP,
Right.
tells stories all the time about covering Rancho Buena Vista playing somebody.
Dan Patrick's brother was a producer here in San Diego.
Right.
They did the sports, and he covered high school football.
You got a passion for high school football. I do, and so do you, Brandon. Let's talk a little bit
Now
about.
time to point out that Adam Rank is also a wrestling fan.
He is a huge wrestling fan.
I didn't know that.
That is true.
That I didn't
The
know.
wrestling fans all know what the other wrestling fans are,
Yeah?
by the way.
Because they see each other at events or what?
That's right. They see him like, wait a minute, I've seen you in a press box before. Is you?
No, guys. It's because wrestling encompasses creativity and order, and in the choreographing, it creates this wonderful weave. And people who like sports, it works for them.
You know what I think it is?
Great storylines.
I
Great
used to
storylines.
joke and be like, hey, that's like the male version of TV novelas.
Yeah, it really kind of.
That's what I thought. Hey, that's just what I thought. And I loved wrestling growing up, and I got to watch some of the greats. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Randy Macho Man Savage, Hulk Hogan. Oh, goodness.
When's your WWE podcast come out?
Oh, stop it. Stop it. This guy.
Let's go. Let's
guy.
focus. I want to, Brandon. I mean, your Friday night's interesting just because, you know, you're in studio, you're out and about as well. You know, I've heard stories from Chris about what the hectic that is KUSI for a PPR Friday night. What's it like for Brandon Stone on a Friday night? We talk about all these athletes all the time. You know, what going to school, what's your mindset? How do you get ready for a game? How do you get ready for game day for KUSI? Take us through the day, because, you know, it's a long day for you. And then on top of that, after the show, you guys do PPR After Dark on Instagram.
Well, I tell people starting a PPR weekend actually starts the Thursday before the other week's games, because I tell you, at some point tonight, I'm going to start looking through the Week 11 schedule and figuring out what's in there. And the hardest part of my day, or hardest part of my week, are those first few days trying to just put a rundown together of where we want games to be and who we want to profile. So Friday, funny enough, the first thing I get to do on Friday morning is actually, that's the most relaxing time because everything's set up. It's when you get to work and start looking to see if there are any mistakes on Friday that the hecticness begins. The most busy thing for me is I have it easier than some of my compatriots because I don't have to be live out in the field.
Right.
And now I'm not even have to be live during the early shows too, and I tape. But back when I used to have to be live, you have to make sure you made your hits, that all your electronics and everything works, that you have the right guest that you want, that you have the information you need. And then in my case, what makes me busy on top of that is when people have those problems, whether they're out in the field, a field producer or a photographer or a talent, I'm the person they call. So when I'm working with my field producer, they say the funniest thing about working with me is I'll spend half the game on the phone because someone will say, I don't know if I want to do this, or where should I go, or what's going on? And I'm like, okay, do this, do that. And then they hang up the phone and I'm like, ah! And I'm just trying to like shoot the touchdown that went across the field 50 yards while I'm trying to
let me just say this.
A random assortment of a problem.
Being in the rooms on Friday nights with Brandon, I will say this. He is probably the most calming presence. While everybody else is running around like a chicken with his head cut off, pulling their hair out, trying to find a computer to use, trying to get their shot sheets done, trying to get everybody's names right. And by the way, I got to say, he pronounces names a lot better than the other guy who does the PPR. I'm just saying. But
it's important. It's
doing
important
all
thing
those
to do.
little details, and you look over at Brandon, he's like, oh, I'm going to go outside and take a walk. And you're like, because he's calm. He's done this so many years. He's got it down right. Nothing rattles this guy. I'm telling you, he's iced in his veins.
Anytime he uses a Simpsons reference in a highlight, I wish J.L. Skinner had could come back
awesome.
just so we can just drop that again.
Hey, you had some great lines, man. I mean, my favorite line. Wait, he's had some good ones over there. But I'll tell you, can I tell one story about how we got close and how I met him the first time?
Sure.
So years ago, I was doing social media for Patrick Henry.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tell this story. You already know what this story is, right? So I invite Brandon Stone to a game. And I'm honored. I'm like, this is Brandon Stone. He's on the PPR.
KUSI, PPR.
This is KUSI, right? And I'm all excited. And he comes and covers the game. We get blown out by Sarah. I mean, the game wasn't even a fight. And I'll never forget, he goes on PPR and he goes, oh, yeah, I came out to see Patrick Henry Green, and it was more like Gang Green. And I'll never forget that because I got roasted by everybody in the school.
No.
Like, why did you invite that guy if he's going to clown us on TV?
Hey, be careful what you wish for, man.
Man, it was bad. I got to tell you, it was bad. It took me a couple years to get over that one. That hurt.
I've grown much calmer in my older years.
Yeah.
We're getting into the nitty-gritty here, Brandon. We'll get through some football takes.
Let's go top 10. Can we get his top 10? I never get this guy on record for saying top 10. I want to get him on record for a top 10. Can we do that?
I mean,
because
I don't mind asking him. It's whether or not he's going to give you his top 10.
Now that he had a member of his team that is no longer there that used to take care of this, and I won't say any names that went to a rival network. No names included. Good
Stop
friend of both of ours.
describing the person then.
Short guy, the short guy.
Stop describing the person.
Okay. Anyway, he used to do it. Now it falls to Brandon. So Brandon, starting at number 10, give me your top 10.
As he pulls up the sent email he sent to John Maffey to send it in this week.
Right?
I do that all the time.
That's
what do you got for us?
Wait. Can we get a KUSI drum roll? All right, there you go.
I'm only going to make one modification. One, okay? Just one modification.
All right, you're changing something on us.
I'm not going 10 through 1. I'm not going 10 through 1. I'm going
tiers.
Good, great, elite.
No.
Tiers.
See, I can't do that. I got to get him on record 10-1.
We will get that the next time we see him.
All right.
Let's go. Let's let Brandon do his thing here.
Let's go. So 11, 10, 9 section, I call that the Palomar we don't know what the hell we're doing yet section, where we just put Poway, Mount Carmel, RB. They're all kind of clumped together because we're still trying to figure out what to make teams with. Each team has one primary guy that makes the engine run.
Basically my
and
zone
a whole
there.
lot of guys around that make the engine works correctly. So next to that, you have the group of teams that are really good, but we're not going to find out just how good they are until we get to the quarterfinals of the playoffs. That's Helix, that's Corey, that's Scripps. Right there, that's that next section.
Okay.
See how they're going to do.
I'm pretty close on that
Then
so far.
So
I'm pretty close.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about my top 10 as you go through yours, and we're pretty close.
Then there's we need to know who's going to come back from injury down the stretch because it makes them that much deadlier group. And that's one team, that's Mission Hills.
I don't know if Gunner will be back, though.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And
he's not going to speculate on a child's injury. Come on.
Then there's the core 4, Carlsbad, Cathedral, Lincoln, Mater Dei. I will say of those 4, Mater Dei, I say would be at the bottom, but that's that's no dishonor in that at all. The thing that sucks about the rankings is, Cathedral put themselves on the line and went and played some really tough teams, the toughest you can play outside of San Diego. And I hate that there's this pressure to have to make Carlsbad number 1 because they have no losses when Cathedral's losses are such tough ones against teams that we don't even normally get to play.
Hey, these are two guys that are picking up exactly what you're saying. I think we agree with what you have to say.
I can say both of these guys were at those games, so yeah, we
understand what you're saying on that one.
Yeah. And listen, flying in San Francisco to play a team is a little different than playing somebody in LA.
Well, let me ask you this, Brandon, because you went through your top 10.
And so when you look...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to give you the breakdown of why I have the split, just real quick. I look back because I was at the Lincoln Saints game. That taught me a lot about where the wavelength of the world is right now. When I look at what Cathedral did to Saints versus what Lincoln did to Saints, it tells me what I need to know about who's the best and who's not quite the best.
I want to ask you this because you mentioned Mater Dei in your top
Shots
4.
fired, by the way.
You're just the controversy.
I'm just
guy.
saying.
I'm glazing over. Anyway, so Brandon, I got to try to stay focused with Brandon here. TopDAWG continually distracts me as much as he can. Let's talk about.
That's how it used to be in my day.
That's right. We all know.
Every day at work.
But that's why we love TopDAWG. Let's talk about. Are you familiar with the way that the Southern section's doing their postseason this year?
Are you talking about rankings wise versus how we're doing our rankings?
Correct.
Or are you talking about something else? Okay. Yeah.
Just the way that they're going to take the top 8 teams ranked on CalPreps are in D1 or they're open, whatever they call it, and then the next 16 are in D2, and the next 16 are in D3, like all the way down, and they just do it via CalPreps. If we were to do that here in San Diego, the 4 teams that you mentioned would be in the open. It would be, Carlsbad, Cathedral, Mission Hills, and Mater Dei, not necessarily in that order. Do you think?
I think right now, Mater Dei is the one left out. I think they're the 5th right now.
Did they drop after last week?
Yeah.
So, but relatively, that's basically what you're looking at. And if not, Mater Dei is in Division 1. How do you think that would play out in San Diego, and do you think that's something maybe San Diego should look into?
I think the tough thing that we have to be careful about, and this is where it's just so troubling in terms of how you tier things on a 2-year cycle, a 4-year cycle, with these teams that are in Division 2 or 3 that are having really successful years, is you might have a team that has to step up in, let's say, Division 3. If Mater Dei somehow ends up in the open, they pull them up. Is that 13th team in D3, are they a team that really wants to be or is truly interested in being in the playoffs at that point? Or have they basically looked at the record after about week 6 and said, we need to pack it in? And I think that could be something that makes that a little more difficult. I'm not sure where Olympian, for example, as they just canceled their season yesterday, whatever day that was, what they were looking at. I don't want to be in a situation where we're forcing a team like Olympian to be in the playoffs outside of what they may have wanted just because we wanted to get Mater Dei up there. That's what makes it troubling, but I think also that's probably where we should be headed, is we need to make a clear line between which teams believe that they should be playing in the open tier and which ones shouldn't be.
Well, let's be candid.
Hold on. Maybe if that means we need to make open available to Divisions 1 and 2, that might be a fair way to make it work.
Well, they don't have divisions in the Southern section this year, so it's just nobody has a division, and then the top teams just go. So the top 4 teams would go. So you'd get, in a sense, you wouldn't have necessarily a D3 school, but you would give Mater Dei an opportunity to win a D1 championship this year. If they have a really good team. Same with Scripps Ranch. Like Scripps Ranch would be in the Division 1 playoffs, which gives them an opportunity. Like, look, if Coach Gardnera's got a really good senior class this year, and they win, D2, and then all of a sudden they get bumped up with a not so good junior and sophomore class, now all of a sudden they have to take their licks the very next year when they don't nearly have the same team, which I think is a very interesting thing, and it's kind of a double-edged sword on that.
To Braden's point,
it also would mean
it actually makes each team either being successful or not successful is going to be where they need to be for that year.
Right.
And I think the biggest problem with the way the system is right now is if you win, then the guys behind you got to pick up your pieces. If you lose, then the guys behind you got to fight their way uphill to get to the top of the mountain.
Right.
It's not fair. It doesn't really reflect like a team like, let's say, Mater Dei, for example.
Yeah.
They got a lot of talent that came into Mater Dei. They're really, really good this year. Why not give them a shot at a D1 championship this year? Because next year, maybe the year after, maybe they don't have that same talent level. Is it fair to those kids that are going to have to go up and play at the D1 level when they weren't that team?
We might need to look at how a team can appeal and say, I'd like to go up a division, and see how maybe we can make that function a little better. That might be a way to handle this problem. I also think one of the things we have to be careful too is teams have to be a lot more careful and judicious, as we're learning from this Lincoln situation that we're facing, about who they choose to book and not book for
Scheduling.
games.
Yep.
Now,
I agree.
if Lincoln was here, they would tell you they've done everything in their power to book games to have a strong enough record to be in the open right now, but that they can't get them booked because teams don't want to play them. And that, I think, something that needs to be addressed too, is how can we balance out these non-conference schedules? What can we do? What deals can maybe certain leagues make to make sure that we have competitive balance? Because if the idea is Lincoln isn't in the open right now because they couldn't find an opponent that was willing to play them, to up them, it's almost like a conspiracy, guys. And I don't want to say it is, but it makes it almost like it, and that's a problem.
He said conspiracy.
We could talk to Brandon Stone for a very long time. We don't have that much time. So Brandon, again, thanks again for joining us. Thanks for for giving us some insight on how you got to where you are and what you do for a lot of people at the PPR, and of course your takes in the high school football realm here in San Diego. Brandon, it's always great talking with you, and look forward to doing it again.
One more thing before you go, Brandon. Did you see what shirt I wore in honor of you today? What is that?
Yes, I do see.
You
It's
see
a
that?
city conference designed by you, ready to ride.
Well, the reason being is because you always do the city game of the week.
Yes, I do. And I just want to say, Joel, you listening, thank you for caring about high school sports. I want to say, make sure you watch us for Week 10 action. 7 league titles will be on the line on our show on Friday.
That's right.
It'll be a lot of fun to see you all there. And a big thanks to
7 league titles. Wow.
Over here. Worked really hard. Really hard.
Brandon, have a
Be
good night,
stoned.
man.
I love you.
Thanks
I
again.
love you, brother.
Thanks
Wow,
again to Calvin Pierce for helping us out with the technicals.
He said
and
7
Brandon
league
Stone.
titles, man.
I got them down. I got the standings.
That's
we could talk about
crazy.
it.
7 on one night?
There's a lot. Well, there's a lot of potential league share titles and whatever you have. But
That's exciting.
that was good talking with Brandon Stone. I know
That's
you wanted
my
to keep
guy.
it light with him. I really wanted to dive into some of the stuff with him and just kind of how he put that together.
I'll tell you what, you have an opportunity. You know why?
Why?
I've already committed you and I to doing the CIF playoff live at KUSI with him.
I still think during the off season, me and you need to do like a sit down long podcast, just talking to guys
We
like
can do
Brandon
that.
Stone. And I really want
Getting to know
to.
coaches,
I
players,
really want to
people.
talk to head coaches and just go through take us through some of the games that you
Well,
played.
you know
when
I
you were a
did that
kid.
last year.
Take us through a long hour-long podcast where you're picking the brain of let's take Drew Wessling. I thought our interview with Drew Wessling was fun last week.
That was awesome.
But, get a sense, it's remember that game back in whatever, you were the quarterback, what was that going, all that kind of stuff, and, kind of tell some war stories with the coaches.
Coach on your Mount Rushmore that you're like, I want to interview that coach.
For
What
me?
San Diego high school football coach? Current, not past, current.
Oh, current?
And you can't say Sean Doyle. That's
I
off
don't know,
the
I've
radar.
interviewed a lot of them already.
So who's the one guy? Who's the best interview guy?
The best interview guy?
Yeah.
I have a really good time talking with John Joyner when I've done interviews with him. Well, because I go back with John Joyner. He coached with my dad at Saints, so he's known me since I was super small.
Right.
So we still keep in touch and whatnot. But I really enjoyed talking to him about high school football, and every coach that I've interviewed has been really different.
Can I tell you my best one? I'd have to say Torrey Pines head coach
Ron Gladnick. I enjoy interviewing him too.
Ron, if you catch him on a good day, Ron is number 1 entertaining. Number 2, he says some of the craziest things you've ever heard. Number 3, he's very superstitious, which most people don't know. Did you know he takes a shower in the locker room before every home game?
That's not something I would do, but that's interesting.
That's his thing, though.
Hey,
That's his
man,
thing,
everybody's
right?
got their deal.
So
I've enjoyed
he was
talking
one of
with.
my most enjoying.
I've enjoyed interviewing Gladnick. I've talked with Thad McNeil a handful of times. I've enjoyed that. Sean Sovacool has always been pretty good up in the North County.
I like Texler too.
You know,
Texler
one of
was a good
my
interview.
favorite interviews that I had, and it got ruined. I was upset about it. Was with Morse's Tracy McNair. I had a good one-on-one with him 2 years ago, and the tape got ruined. I was pissed.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Tape.
Yeah, I mean that's just
Who
the
does
audio. My audio on my computer didn't work for him. It didn't work.
that sucks.
I did his whole interview, about 10-15 minutes. It was great.
I did an interview with him and J.R. Tolber
Yeah.
about 3 years ago, and Tracy had some interesting things to say. He has some interesting takes on certain things. I also like Charles James. Charles will always give you a one-liner. He'll always give you a good soundbite for what you're working on.
I mean, I've interviewed Verlaine. I've had good interviews with him. I had a really good interview with the late Chris Thompson. I had a really good one with him. He dropped the whole. He dropped the Saints Cathedral playing for second place when I was at Mira Mesa.
Ouch.
And, I've had some really good ones, and I just want to thank all the coaches out there that I've
Guys,
been able to talk to. Some of these guys, like I've had good conversations with Joe Kramer too, and and the
Sean
thing
Pomato.
is, Sean Pomato.
John
I mean,
Montali.
the thing is, it's like. There's that little hesitancy, I think, from some coaches, or at least maybe I feel this way because, I coach a cathedral.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, why am I going to talk to this cathedral kid?
At least you're part of the franchise, right? You're part of the fraternity, okay?
Right. Well, kind of.
Listen, when they see Top Dog coming down there, they even put a sign at LCC that says "No dogs allowed."
No, don't talk to Top Dog.
So listen, when I asked for the interview, they're like, "Dude, how are you gonna burn me?"
You know who I haven't interviewed that I'd like to interview is Drew Smith.
I interviewed Drew.
I haven't interviewed him yet.
Lee Cole.
Lee Cole at Del Norte?
Del Norte. He threw me off his field.
Really?
Yeah. Lee threw me off his field at Del Norte.
We might have to bring him on the show then.
Oh man, he don't like me. He don't like me.
Well, I'm curious, like any of the coaches in the coaches' corner, would be interested in hearing some long podcasts about
Corey
how
Page
games
gonna
played
come
out. What?
What about Corey Page?
Yeah, I got to talk to Corey Page.
When are we gonna interview Corey Page?
I gotta get Corey Page.
Corey, I'm calling you out. Let's do a remote one where you come in like Brandon just did. We got a few more weeks left. I'd love to see you come on and talk about high school football in San Diego.
Let's get to some of those league championship games that we were going to talk about. A handful of them are legit league championship games. Some of them are, if this team wins, I'll at least get a share. We'll start with the. We're not going to pick games yet, but we'll just kind of start previewing it. Avocado League, surprisingly enough, has a championship game this week. Carlsbad, La Costa Canyon. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit, but. When you see this matchup, I mean, obviously you see the top dog in Carlsbad. They've already handled business against Torrey Pines. They've handled business against Mission Hills. La Costa Canyon sitting there at 3-1, kind of a surprise team. In a sense that both you and I didn't think they were going to do that great in the Avocado League. We thought, we both thought they weren't going to do as well as El Camino. They already handled that conversation, and now. They're here 2 weeks left in the season playing for a league championship game against Carlsbad. Do you think they have what it takes to potentially shock the county and really mess up the Division I and Open Division playoffs?
No.
You don't think so?
No. I'm just saying.
Can they keep it within 32 points?
That other team got Julian saying. That kid is a difference maker.
That's true.
So, no, I don't think LCC's got
They can't even keep it close.
35-14.
Okay. Carlsbad's favored by 32 in that. Central League, Mission Bay can get a share of the Central League Championship with a win this week. They're 3-0. They're just trying to hold off Hoover. They play Hoover the last week of the season. City League does have a championship game, winner-take-all on the line. Well, kind of winner-take-all. Patrick Henry, San Diego High, both teams undefeated. San Diego's 2-0 in league play. Patrick Henry's 3-0. Things can get crazy after this week if the team that loses is able to win and the team that wins is able to lose. But for the most part, that's a league championship game. I think that one's going to be a pretty good football game.
I think it's going to be a pretty good football game. But I just think I'm going to have to go with Patrick Henry on that one.
I think Patrick Henry wins too. We'll get to that in just a bit. Santa Fe Christian Orange Glen is a league championship game. They're both 4-0. Scripps Ranch Mira Mesa is a league championship game tomorrow. Both of those teams are 2-0. Helix and Grossmont are the two undefeated teams theoretically in their league right now.
Are they both 1-0?
They're both 1-0.
Yeah.
I mean, if Helix wins, they're basically
in the driver's seat.
They got the league championship.
Yeah.
Metro Mesa League is pretty much in wraps. Modern Day just needs to take care of business. If they win this week, they will clinch a share of the championship. The other thing, it's dumb though, but here's the deal: if you happen to have the same record as the team and that you lost that team head-to-head, you're still co-champions anyway.
That shouldn't be that way.
I know, but that's how it is. So, like, let's just say theoretically, let's say Eastlake wins, Mater Dei loses to somebody else. Even though Mater Dei and Eastlake have the same, even though
you're telling me they're going to be co-champions,
they would theoretically be co-champions.
Listen, maybe they'll give it to you. Maybe they'll give you the co-champions.
You gonna hang a banner over that?
But ain't no banners going up in the gym at Eastlake. Y'all lost. Okay?
I was just using them as an example.
No co-champions.
You're just attacking. I'm just using them as an example.
Look.
So, like, here's the deal. Mount Carmel beats
Poway.
And Mount Carmel beats Poway, and Poway beats RB. Tri-champions. All three of them get a banner.
That's crazy.
I'm just saying,
I don't
that's how
even know
it
what to
works.
say.
Ramona can win the.
Are we playing for participation trophies now?
They already kind of.
There can only be one winner.
Ramona wins an outright of the Valley League with a win this week. Grossmont Valley League. West Hills is playing Santana to just kind of end Santana's hopes at this point in time. West Hills is 4-0, El Cap's 4-0, and those two teams are
Hold
top.
that thought.
What's up, boss?
Calvin's back.
I'm back, man.
We got the West Hills El Cap was kind of what we're talking about, but we got some game picks. I'm gonna roll through the game picks with you. I don't know where TopDAWG left. He just like got up and left.
You have to go handle something.
What?
You have to go handle something.
Yeah, he got up really quick. I didn't get to see. I didn't get to look back on how you did on your picks. How do you think you did in your picks last week?
I did pretty good.
Did you cover on the spread?
Easily.
So if you bet in Vegas, you would have made some cash.
Especially that Mater Dei game.
Hey, Eastlake covered.
Yeah.
We like teams that cover.
Right.
Game of the week this week, you might disagree. Poway at Mount Carmel. Poway's favored by 3. I think the Titans get it done. That's one of your schools right there.
Redemption.
Really? Why is Mount Carmel going to beat Poway?
They kind of needed to go through that. It was like perfect timing that they kind of saw that hiccup, and I kind of almost bet that they're going to bounce back. It was kind of like I talked about this last week with Mater Dei when it was like, oh, Mater Dei really didn't score no points in the first half. I said, I bet you they don't go through that again.
Right. You got to get a little learning curve. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't see that happening again.
I didn't ask you. Where are you at this week?
I'll be at the Lincoln Madison.
That's going to be a good football game.
We got quite a few games covering. We got Lincoln Madison. We got Patrick Henry.
San Diego High.
We got Mira Mesa.
Mira Mesa Scripps. You're at all the league championship type games.
We got Crawford.
Who's Crawford playing?
I don't even know.
But you're going to be there. Or somebody from TSC Sports is going to be there.
Somebody's going to be there.
That's right. What do we got? How about that?
We got Still Canyon coaches in the house. Hey, we got
What's going on? What? I didn't have any idea what you just said. Well, I'm joined by
Tyler Buenviaje.
Tyler what? Buenviaje. You coach at Steel Canyon. What level do you coach at?
Freshman.
Oh, the freshman squad. How'd the freshman squad do today?
Hey, we got a lot of talent. I think our record doesn't reflect the talent that we have on the team, but definitely a good group of kids going forward. Well,
Coach Longerbone really set you guys up for a lot of success with the schedule that he gave you. I mean, that's a brutal schedule, top to bottom.
Hey, at all levels, I think he expects a lot from his program. Top 10 schools all across the board, and I think it's just going to build for better camaraderie going forward.
Well, we're going through our game picks right now. Steel Canyon's got, what do you guys got, Granite this week?
We got Granite this
week. A big game against Granite tomorrow night. How do you think your Cougars are going to do against Granite Hills tomorrow?
It's another league game. I think this season's really prepared them for league. I think we're going to go in there, we're going to take care of business, we're going to beat Granite Hills.
What kind of, just because you coach the younger levels, what are some names of players that, we should be weary of or we should know about because they're going to be big impact guys for Steel Canyon in the next couple of years?
From Steel Canyon freshman team, definitely a kid to watch out for is John Weaver, a little elusive running back. You got to keep your eyes on him. Zeke Marcos, that middle linebacker. These kids are going to come up through the system, and I guarantee you're going to hear their names on Friday night.
Should we have them pick games? Or no, we're going to switch? I'm here with another Steel Canyon coach. Say where you're from.
We got to be flexible here, right? We're about the people, right?
That's right. I didn't know. You just like got up and just took off, and all of a sudden 2 Steel Canyon guys showed up. Name, level you coach, what position you coach?
Austin Keller, freshman coach as well. Linebackers and running backs.
Linebackers and running backs. I asked earlier how the game went, and your other coach just said our record does not reflect how good our team is. So what was the game? How did the game go today? What are some things you got to work on in the last week as you get ready for Grossmont next week?
First half we did good. Second half we blew it.
No, this
That's
wasn't.
pretty much it. I mean, we got still to work on them in their freshmen. They're still learning everything. Just got to keep grinding at it.
What are some of the challenges facing you as a freshman coach this year that a lot of other freshman coaches are probably going through, knowing the fact that most of your kids haven't played football since 7th grade?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of our guys, they have not played football at all.
Right.
So just coaching them all up, letting them learn the basics of football, and just coaching them all up with that.
So I got a question for you. Coach Longerbone is one of my favorite coaches. I love
Coach Longerbone.
He's a great dude. What's it like being one of his development coaches, getting guys ready for varsity? What's that like?
It's great. Most varsity coaches, they don't really care about the freshman program. He's always down there helping us out whenever we need him, and just always being there for our support whenever.
What kind of numbers did Steel Canyon's freshman team have this year?
Like players?
Yes.
How many players we got? We got about like 45.
45.
Yeah.
Is that up or down from previous years?
I think it's up. It's my first year, our first year coaching there.
Okay.
So I think what I've heard, it's up there.
Where'd you coach before this?
That's my first year coaching.
First year coaching?
Yeah.
How are you enjoying first year coaching?
Man, it's fun. It's been fun.
So where did you play in town before?
Yeah, I played at Mater Day.
Where?
Mater Day.
Mater Day.
Yeah.
Okay. What year did you graduate?
16. We played together. 16.
Oh, nice. So you got into coach.
Yeah. He was. We were.
What about
seniors.
Nico? Did you play Nico?
I'm sorry.
You play with Nico?
Nico, what's his last name?
What's Nico's last name? The big lineman. The big lineman that went pro.
I don't
Plays for
think
the
so.
Ravens.
Oh, no,
Saragusa. Nico Saragusa.
Oh no, he graduated when I was coming in.
But you played with Jovan Bayless?
Yeah, Jovan, CJ.
Jovan,
all them
CJ,
guys.
let's see, Chris, what was Chris' last name? Quarterback. Jones. Chris Jones.
Yep. All them
Kyle
guys.
Moses.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, CJ.
I was in college when these guys were playing, so I don't know.
was at those games.
I wasn't. I was in Texas. Real quick, what got you into coaching, and what was the spark? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna go coach, and why are you coaching at Steel Canyon?
Just the love of the game for football. I don't know. I'm really close with this guy. His dad was a freshman coach. He called me up like a week before the season started. He's like, I need a coach. I'm like, hey, I'm down for that. Give it a try, and I've loved it ever since.
Being a great coach is, being able to be at different programs and seeing how they work. What's been some of the, similarities and differences between, playing at Mater Day and coaching now at Steel Canyon, how they run their program?
Coach Longerbone lets us do our own thing, so just putting on our own stuff that we get to do. Not really much of a difference. Just teaching techniques, really.
How much have you learned so far on the job?
Oh, a lot. a lot. Yeah, it's a learning curve for me too.
Last thing for you, what's your favorite part about coaching on Thursday afternoons and Friday nights?
Get to go home. My week's done on Thursdays.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
All right,
Appreciate it. Good meeting you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys.
All right, we're going to roll through these game picks here.
Yep.
We had Brandon Stone on. Calvin Pierce filled in for a little bit. We had the 2 freshman coaches from Steel Canyon.
I'm back. See, I told you I had a surprise for you, man.
He just got up and left. And
Well,
I was like, where'd he
because-
go? And Calvin's like, he had to go take care of business. And I was like, what?
Listen, when you see somebody, and I know these guys when they're players.
Okay.
So when I came and I saw them with Steel Canyon jackets on, and I love Bone. Bone's my guy. That's my dude.
Gotta give Steel Canyon
I had to
some
give Steel Canyon some love, man. Had to give him some love.
You missed the Poway Mount Carmel pick. He took Mount Carmel.
I'm
think
taking
Poway's
Poway.
gonna win -3.
That's why he's behind the camera.
That's right. He's also got his own deals with different schools.
That's true.
I don't want to
That's
click on
true.
that.
That's
the
true.
Constant Canyon 5-3 at number 2. Carlsbad, who's 8-0. Carlsbad's favored by 32.
See you guys. Carlsbad
Carlsbad
to cover the
minus
spread.
32.
Yes. Sorry, Sean.
I'm gonna take Silvico.
Listen,
plus 32.
you know why?
Why?
I'm only picking him because they have a sign up that says no dogs allowed. Until he takes that down, I will never pick LCC.
I'm going the Mavs. I like that sign. No dogs allowed. That's funny. Do you stay off campus though?
I'm not even allowed there. I'm telling you, I'm really not allowed there.
They're in Del Norte apparently, places you can't go.
Yep. Imagine they're all North County.
Yeah, well. Number 22, Grossmont at number 8, Helix. Helix is favored by 26. Does Grossmont get the musket back? Does Helix even know where the musket is?
Helix don't even care about the musket.
Do any of those? I'm gonna ask you right now. Do any of the kids on Helix
No.
have any idea
No.
there's a rivalry?
They don't
with
even care
Grossmont?
about the musket,
Do they
man.
have any idea?
They don't even care about the musket.
Do they know there's a musket?
They don't even consider that a rivalry. You know
don't
who
even know it's
Helix
a
considers
musket.
a rivalry?
Who?
Cathedral.
I'm glad.
I'm
'Cause
just
when
saying.
we first started playing Helix, they didn't even care who we were.
Oh.
So I'm
Well, they
glad
care
that-
now.
I'm glad that they care now.
They care now.
52-0 will make you care in a real quick
Ow.
hurry.
Ow. He said it. I didn't say that.
That was the
He
worst
said
loss by the Highlanders in their history. by
Listen,
the
we're
way.
going to go back to the game, though. Helix to cover.
Helix to
Highlander
cover.
Nation, I got you.
The Scotties are going to cover 26 points.
Yep.
Bonita Vista at East Lake's your South Bay game of the week. Try to find a better game. I dare you. East Lake's favored by 42.
Nate Cristobal, quarterback at Bonita Vista. I'm sorry, son. I love you, but East Lake's too much. That defense is going to be swarming. You're going to be running for your life.
Can East Lake?
I'm taking East Lake.
Can East Lake cover 42 points?
Yes.
Can they score 42 points?
Wait a minute. That's a good question.
That's why I'm asking. I'll take Bonita plus 42.
Lynn Smith, Coach Lynn, you got to help me out here, man. Talk to that offense. You and Texter figure this thing out. I'm taking East Lake plus 40, minus giving up 42.
Minus 42.
I believe in
parlay is
y'all.
going to be crazy. City game of the week, Patrick Henry favored by 4 at San Diego. I'll take the Patriots.
JT O'Sullivan. Charles, I love you, but you're going to lose.
El Camino at Mission Hills. Mission Hills favored by 28. I'll take Mission Hills minus 28.
I'm going to take, no, I can't do it. Mission Hills minus 28.
Granite Hills at Steel Canyon. Steel Canyon favored by 2. Before even talking to the Cougars coaches, I was taking the Cougars. Minus
I'm not
2.
sure I believe that.
I'm taking Steel.
I'm not sure I believe that.
And I was going to do that?
No.
No, I was
No.
picking that game.
I think you're doing it because you had two dudes sit down here.
No.
It's sway you a
Steel
little
Canyon-
bit.
After I watched Granite Hills play against Grossmont last week, I'm taking Steel.
Listen, I don't want to get too far into their quarterback controversy over at Granite Hills,
I got Steel.
but did you hear about this?
No.
So, I guess Parsons now is playing quarterback over there because the other two guys got in
Like
some
Granite?
sort of altercation, and then the parents got in some sort of altercation, and now they're on the third string quarterback. So all I'm saying is, I'm definitely taking Steel Canyon.
I was taking Steel Canyon regardless. Lincoln's favored by 22 at Madison. Can Madison cover 22 points? Plus 22.
Have you seen their offense?
Saints covered 22?
Have you seen their offense?
I have.
It runs through one guy. Who's that guy? Tyson Bryant.
I don't know his name.
Number 4, Tyson Bryant. Madison's offense runs through Tyson Bryant. They're going to put 8 in the box. They're fast. They're physical at Lincoln. They're going to swarm to the ball. And the DBs, the 2 top DBs in the county, will take that kid Jackson out the game. They're definitely not covering 22.
You said they're not covering 22?
No, Lincoln giving up 22. I'm taking Lincoln giving up 22.
So they've covered 22. Lincoln will
does.
cover.
Yeah,
Okay.
Madison's not.
They're not going to be within.
No.
Saints was within 22.
That's Saints, though.
Saints lost to Madison.
They're a little bit more physical.
All right.
It's different team matchup.
Top Dog just called Madison soft.
I didn't. You want to play back? Rewind on this? Because I didn't
I
say
don't know.
soft. I didn't
You
say
said-
soft.
You said Saints is physical. And then in
I didn't say they were
comparison to what
soft.
Madison's not.
I didn't say soft.
I don't know.
Don't put words in my mouth. Don't do
I'm
that.
trying to make you
I
even
get
more-
my ass in enough trouble by myself. I don't need you starting nothing either, okay?
Get
Ben
you
Follow,
more
I never
controversy.
called nobody soft. Coach Jackson never called nobody soft.
I'm going to talk to Suka tomorrow and ask.
Go ahead.
He's going to be upset.
Suka's a Don. So
I know.
Ben is a.
I know him, Ben. Ben's
Okay.
a Madison
Ben's
guy.
my guy.
I know.
But he'll tell you he ain't beating Lincoln.
I didn't say beat. I just say
He tell
Stay
you
within
they ain't gonna come
22
with 20.
points.
No, he'll tell you.
I got faith in Ben Follow.
I got faith in Ben Follow too.
I'll take Lincoln. Fine. You've
Wait,
convinced me.
what? Okay.
You could
Moving along.
Hey, you didn't
What do we
sell
got?
you didn't sell Ben Follow's defense too much right there.
Well, I saw what they did against Cathedral.
Well,
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? You
it's
saw
hard
that,
to
didn't
stop.
you?
It's hard to stop Lucky Sutton.
Wasn't just well, yeah.
Lucky in that game, by the way, came up to me and said, "How many touchdowns did Gaffney had in that game?" I said 6. He's like, "Well, I'm at 4."
Wow.
And I was like, "Well, I don't know if you're gonna play anymore."
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, what do we got?
Mira Mesa at Scripps Ranch. Scripps Ranch by 18. Does Mira Mesa make it closer than that?
No,
You got the Falcons.
I do.
I got the Falcons too.
And that one hurts. Because I want Morales and those boys over there, Denon Fagan, my guys over at Mira Mesa. I want those guys to be close, but I just think the speed, the size, the accuracy of Jax Leatherwood is too much. Too much to overcome.
I was getting distracted by Calvin Pierce's selfies over there.
I want some of them fries,
He's
man.
eating his wings. He's
Why
having a
didn't
good
you
time.
share no fries, man?
I've never seen Calvin smile so much
Right?
in my life. Let's finish these up so we can go eat some wings.
For real.
We did that game. Oh, what world are we in where Ramona's favored by 10 against Oceanside?
2021. We call that the post-COVID years.
I got Ramona.
I'm taking Oceanside. Listen,
To win or to
everybody,
cover?
listen. Do you realize, again, a North County team that don't like me, and that's Oceanside. They have snipers on the freeway up there, making sure I don't go through the 5 freeway up in Oceanside.
So in order to get to Orange County, you got to go through Riverside?
I got to go around. I got to go the 15 to 91. But I'm taking Oceanside this week. Pirates, let's go. By the way, before we move on,
taking Ramona.
congratulations to Damon Baldwin, who's been named the coach of the North team for the Spanos All-Star Classic. Congratulations, Coach.
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
And congratulations on the win tomorrow, because I got Ramona minus 10.
All right, well.
Santa Fe Christian and Orange Glen. Santa Fe Christian's favored by 24.
Blow out. Santa Fe Christian wins.
That would be a league championship game as well. That was a long show.
Woo!
Good
It was
show,
fun.
though.
I got a little quirky.
Okay, you just took off out of nowhere. Calvin's eating wings, having a good time. Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm up here dancing.
Calvin's dancing. We got to get out of here.
It's getting late.
We've been on way too long.
It's getting late. We've been on the air too long.
My 2 colleagues are having way too much
I'm
fun at Buffalo Wild
TopDAWG. That's
Wings.
Braden.
Have a good week.
Hey, make sure you follow TSC
Calvin
Sports.
Pierce.
Hey, shoot out our sponsors, please.
The Pierce brothers, right?
Real estate agents. If you need one, call these guys, please.
The Powell brothers.
The Powell Brothers. You know them. The Powell Brothers. When you need a real estate broker and agent, make sure you call the Powell Brothers.
There you go. Trusted, respected, recommended, 858-922-7725.
There it is.
Big thanks to Calvin Pierce, TopDAWG.
Big
I'm Braden
thanks to
Surprenant.
Buffalo Wild
Huge
Wings.
thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings. We will see you guys next week.